Molly.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Okay,
Good. How are
listen.
you?
That was an
Uh,
adorable video of your husband eating. I gotta tell you the story. Yesterday,
oh,
I watched the Instagram video that you put up of your husband teasing your daughter with a French toast. So what did I do? I made French toast. Your fault.
Okay, I'll take blame for that. I've had so many DMs of people being like, okay, so inquiring minds want to know what kind of pancake mix do you make? Because my husband makes pancakes literally every day. I'm like, we need to chill on the pancakes. Winter's
no.
like, Mama, pancakes. And I'm like, I don't make pancakes. And when I
Yeah.
do, I burn them. So
You'll wait for that.
it's a thing. It's a thing.
I love the everyday stuff. Like Sarah has to make a
Yeah.
cake for
Do you want
her every damn day.
Sure.
Oh, hi,
Go ahead.
Nathan.
Hi,
You saw
Nick.
the Christmas tree.
Oh,
Did you have
yes.
a Christmas tree?
I do
Yep.
have a Christmas tree.
Ooh, fancy, huh?
Is it Christmas today?
Not yet, honey.
No, I'm just early. It brings joy in my household.
We need
Did
it.
it all.
All the
Yep.
joy.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Table for Five with no reservations. Take a seat at the table for a fresh, sweet, salty tart, and pleasantly bitter conversation.
Thank you for taking a seat at the table. This is Why We Share series. This is episode 3. Tonight we have my dear friend Molly Seale on. Seated at the table this evening is Jen Dunn,
Hi, everyone.
Kim McIsaac,
Hello.
Jamie Ramos,
Hi.
Tabs Cabrera,
Hello.
and I'm Rachel Flanagan. Tonight we have Molly. Hey, Molly.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so happy that you're here. I feel, I think I was there the day you started your blog, but I feel like this is a long time coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for writing still. I feel like you hit a good spike in October. Do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners
Sure.
first?
Sure. I'm Molly Seale. I live in California, but I'm originally from the Midwest, from Ohio. I have 2 children. One is Wynter. He is my oldest, and he is almost 5, and he is autistic. He was diagnosed at 2. And I have a almost 3-year-old daughter named Storey, who is sassy and all of the things.
Curly.
Not 3 major
Three.
yes, and developmental delays, but no official diagnosis yet. But is in a bunch of early intervention. And yes, I met you lovely ladies at a retreat that I didn't went to and didn't know anyone back over a year ago, which is kind of crazy because I feel like I know
So
you all
much
so
has
well now.
changed.
Yeah,
So
it was
much
so
has
fun.
changed.
Well, I just want to say, after meeting you, Molly, clearly your daughter must get her attitude from your husband because, I mean, you aren't, there's, you are
She's
laid
just so
back.
calm.
I tried today. This is why I look like this today because I just came back from the gym. I'm trying to do some more things for myself, which is outside of traveling and going to retreats with you all. But I had to take Storey with me. So I'm like in the corner trying to lift a barbell and she's like trying to copy me.
I love it. Bring a
It's
pool
very
noodle.
different experience.
Yes, not as relaxing with the children in tow for sure at the gym.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. I want to do that again tomorrow. That's what she told me. But yeah, I started sharing after everyone kind of touched me on like in thinking back of why I did it and like I didn't know anything about autism and I didn't know anyone else and everyone kind of encouraged me to do it at the More Than retreat in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. And
Northern middle of nowhere, Wisconsin.
northern middle of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
I was a little like out of it at that retreat after, taking a red eye, driving 4 hours.
Yes.
It was a little rough.
A whole adventure.
A whole adventure, but it led me here to you guys. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy. We just were drinking by the fire and like, let's start a page and started from there and have gone through ebbs and flows. It's sometimes easy, sometimes really hard. And like trying to be real and authentic, I feel like is difficult on the internet. And like, I don't want people to judge my family more than they already do. But I also I wish I had seen it more like growing up because again, I had no idea.
You don't know.
You don't know. I don't think I remember telling people like, hey, people would be like, oh, Winter's not talking. I'm like, oh, I've never gone to kindergarten with someone who doesn't talk. He'll be fine. He's a boy. And I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that thought process really led me to sharing. So I share on Instagram and Facebook, and my page is A Wynter Storey, and it's all over the place. But it's us, and it's messy, and it's what having two toddlers and one of special needs leads us to, I guess.
We've had on a few people, like I can remember Lisa from Cody Speaks specifically saying, I share now, but Cody is, I can't remember how old he was at the time, 19 maybe. She's like, I cannot imagine having the time or the bandwidth to share when my kids were, or when Cody was young. And so I keep that in mind as I judge myself for like posting 10 days in a row and then not posting for 10 days and going off grid and still trying to grow. But I feel like anytime that we can get a message out, even if it is 5 days straight and then nothing for a month, it still can impact people and open someone's heart.
Yeah. And one of the things I'm trying to give myself like more of an open mind on, I mean, you read some of y'all's posts and like Kate's and Adrian's, and it's such beautiful writing and long pieces. And I don't have time for that half the time. And I feel like at first I was like holding myself to this standard of wanting to be on that level, because if not, I wasn't worthy of writing. And now I'm like, here's a picture of my kids doing real stuff. And like, here's a one blurb sentence about it, but that's what they're doing. That's what I have time for. And it's still showing like how different it is. Like Storey going to the gym with me today, Wynter couldn't do that. There was 20 people there running around. Like he couldn't have done that safely. And it doesn't have to be this long, poetic, book worthy post to really still get it out there. And I feel like that's what I'm learning as I go and being a year in now.
Yeah,
it's about sharing.
Sometimes the like 2 or 3 sentence ones reach more people than something that you poured your heart into, so it's really like a dice roll on what people resonate, they could resonate with like a beautiful photo over like all the words.
And I was going to say the same thing. And I feel like people too are not as into the long, lengthy pieces nowadays. Like they're just scrolling to like do quick snapshots. Like people are not spending as much time, I feel like, on those things. And we've always said it's like sometimes you can put so much into a thing and it gets like 30 likes, and then you just like open it up in like word vomit, and it's like, oh, 345 likes. It's like there's like no rhyme or reason sometimes. So
but I think
it's crazy.
I think it's a really good point that like I think that holds us back from doing so many things where it's like, oh, I can't share because I don't have time to write like these long things. And I mean, my blog all the time, like it's like back and forth. So it's like once a month I'll write like a longer piece. But in the beginning I was so hesitant because it's like I don't even think I'm capable of writing long pieces all the time about stuff like that. So for other people that want to share out there, you don't have to do that. Like just share your real. I love how you do that. You're just like, this is what's going on. And this is, I mean, with 2 toddlers, I couldn't either.
And they are pretty cute.
Oh my God, they're
so pretty cute.
Molly, one of the things that you've done recently is, or pretty consistently actually, as I've followed your page since the beginning, you have lots of these little postcard pieces, like a couple of sentences, and but then every now and again you have a real like tie all of those together sort of explanation of how life has gone. Sort of snapshots, then the Christmas letter style post, Recently, one that you shared talked about like you have, and you alluded to it just here. We've been on several trips together. I've seen you just recently. We saw you last month, You've been able to do some travel, but you've also had so much upheaval in the last year. And I think it's so cool the way that you sort of brought your followers through that whole roller coaster, because it's a lot to parent. It's a lot to hit these huge hurdles, and it's a lot to do it while you're carrying additional needs.
Yeah. No, thank you for bringing light to that, I guess. I feel like my bigger post usually something like triggers that. And I was sitting in Greece. I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate. I've went on literally 4 international trips this year. my husband has held down the fort for two of those. My mom has flown out for two of those. And I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm here. My kids are not here. My birthday just is happening. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm so fortunate for everything that has been going on this year, but like, it's been hard to really take a step back and look and really like enjoy it in the moment because of all these big pressure things that are looming. And I have clinically diagnosed anxiety, which doesn't, help any matter. But I'm like, I'm sitting in this beautiful country without my kids, without the stress of my marriage or someone, not going to sleep, and I can sleep all day if I want, and I can drink on the beach. And it was hard to really enjoy it because I had all of this stuff going on at home with Wynter and the school district not giving him what he needed, and trying to figure out how to figure that out while I was laid off, and paying for private school, and then what he's going to do next year. And I really just tried to take a step back in the moment and be like, am I just like filling these voids with more stuff to make it seem like less? And it made it really, really evident when, you are in some place without the day-to-day. Do I need to do the laundry? Do I need to wipe my kid's butt or take them to school? And I feel like that's really like been one of the most eye-opening things for me, is like, I can be in the stress of day to day, but like when I'm not taking care of myself and like taking a step back and looking at my mental health and pouring into myself, and that's not just always getting away, right? It's doing the little things and doing the work in therapy and talking through it, and not just like patching over it or skimming over it. And I feel like when those big moments hit me, like it is super therapeutic for me to write, and doing it like raw with no pressure and not having this, like, that's when I feel like my long pieces come. And it's just like, I need to spew this out right now because a lot has been going on.
Yes. So many of the people that have come on to the podcast are also writers, or, they've got a project to share or something. And all of us talk about how therapeutic it is to like process in writing. And I think whether it's coming out or has to be like deleted 54 times to turn into a sentence that works, you're working through it,
Yeah. And again, I think it's when those big pieces come, or when those big stories come, it's like something has happened, right? Not feeling the pressure to have that all the time, I think, is also like giving yourself, again, back to like giving yourself grace, and like, here's just the messy today. Like, again,
I think when there's like a really big struggle or a really great win, that's when it comes, well, for me, that's when it comes easiest to me, especially if there's something I'm really upset about, because then that's when I can do my best writing. But it's those times in the middle that, like, when there's nothing, like, there's not a huge struggle, and then there's not like a huge win. It's like, and of course, Alyssa's older, so like, it's like, I mean, she kind of does the same stuff every day, so it's kind of like, well, what do you write about? I definitely feel that 100%.
You put like these unrealistic expectations, or like fake expectations on being like a writer or blogger or whatever you're thinking that you need to be doing. But I'm kind of in that space with you over this last year, where I've pared back a lot with the writing and sharing, and just because of my life circumstances. And I felt a lot of guilt and weird stuff about that. And I'm trying to like process like that it's okay to do whatever, do you, if you want to share today, cool. If you don't, there's no expectation that someone's out there waiting for your post to post, they'll be there when you put something up or not. But the mental health piece of sharing on the internet, there's a big part of that, like if you're struggling with anxiety, well, we all talk about our mental health on this podcast, but it can be taxing as well to like put these unrealistic expectations on yourself to share, whatever way.
And like Kim was saying, like, that's kind of how I posted today. I was like, shit, things are going really well right now. And like,
I almost came to your house and kicked you in the
I know. But I'm like, I feel like at first, especially when I started sharing, it was like, I don't want to look like I'm just bitching about my children all the time, or my kids are so hard. And because you get even like family members who are like, that's just normal. That's a normal 5-year-old. I don't know why you're complaining, or you're just making this too dramatic, or you know, everyone goes through that. It doesn't have to be this hard. And then if you're sharing the like wins that are so big for you individually, and people are like,
Mhm.
my 1-year-old's doing that, or, you know, like, so that was really hard for me at first. And it still is a lot. Like, I don't
Well,
want
it's
to
like
like,
people have this like twisted way of trying to make you feel better. Like, I feel like they do it from a good place to try to like
right,
almost like normalize like your situation. But like, it's like, yeah, yes, other 5-year-olds do this. Absolutely. Like, I run a daycare. They do. They all
yeah,
do terrible
I get
things.
that.
It's a
yeah,
terrible. But like, it's the intensity and the frequency that our children do things that are different. And the like the
Mhm.
simplicity of like, I have 4 children, and you know, 3 of my kids are typical outside of ADHD. And those children at any time I could just be like, hey, let's go meet so and so at the park. Oh, this one invited us to the beach. And then I just take those kids, grab their bathing suits, grab sunblock, and go. Like, I could never, ever, ever do that with Alyssa, ever. Like, there's always like so much planning and thinking and wondering. And if it's a new place, I just won't. I mean, I wouldn't do it when she was little if it was a new place. But like, there's just so much that goes to it. It's just never simple. And then it's like, are you going to be able to get her out the door with ease? And sometimes I can. Sometimes I can get her out the door in a snap. But like, then other times you can't get her out the door. Like, there's so much stuff
Mhm.
that goes on behind the scenes that I just think that people don't see if they don't live this life, or they don't live like beside this life. They just do not understand. And they are trying to like, I feel like, be nice, but like they just end up diminishing our struggle when we're trying to like,
Mhm.
you know, put it out there. And I always think that there's, you know, there's always that mom who's like feeling alone in these feelings, and then they go on the internet and they're like, this is how I feel. This is, I've had
Yeah.
so many people write to me and be like, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Like, you wrote the words that I cannot write. And like, I feel seen. And sometimes it's just like a nothing post. It's not even something that like to me is that like mind blowing. It's just like a whim, you know? So
right.
I think, you know, I really do think we make an impact and help a lot of people without realizing it. But it is, they, I know what you're talking about when they say that, and you're just like, okay.
Thank
You
you.
know, and I feel like people just try to make you feel better, but like they do like the opposite. It's just like so frustrating, you
And
know.
it's like for people, I feel like what I really try to do with people when I see things on the internet is like give people the benefit of the doubt, because it is such a cruel place.
Yeah.
And, you know, like one of my most like viral posts was literally just a picture of Wynter's preschool picture. He had his long, beautiful curly hair, and like people were just like turned it into gender identity issues and like
Yeah.
gender norms and what people should be wearing and how I'm setting him up for failure. And it's like I literally posted this. He's smiling and looking at the camera and wearing
The
a shirt
kid.
that's probably not that comfortable. It's a huge win. And it's hard when things take a left hand turn to not like
Yeah. Want to quit.
be up, yeah, and want to quit. But I do really think like again, I didn't know anyone who was autistic growing up. I remember asking the diagnosing doctor when Wynter was getting, do I have to tell anyone about his diagnosis? Like, what does this mean? What if he's just not like this later? And I think like looking back, I feel so naive, and I feel like it was just I was very sheltered in terms of like what I was exposed to. And if I can show one person like how genuine and how sweet my kid is,
Yeah.
like I want people to know that like he's not just, you know, dumb or like can't speak, or like he's the most loving kid I've ever met. Like every night he tells me, love you more than the whole solar system. And like that's kind of our little
Oh.
thing. And it's like the sweetest, like I'm definitely his person, which, you know, we
Mhm.
all know that feeling. And when he wants to do something and he wants to give you a hug or tell you he likes something, like there's no more genuine feeling in the world. And like I want people to know that side too.
It's so great. I love the balance that you're bringing, and I love the grace that you're writing it features, like the growth of your kids or where you're at. And I think it's great. I say keep going. Where can everybody find you, Molly? Where
You know,
are
on
all the places and the projects?
Here on Facebook at A Wynter Storey. Wynter is spelled with a Y and Story is Storey, because that's how I decided to spell my children's names.
Yep.
And also same name on Instagram. So see a cute curly hair blonde boy and my dark haired short hair who she got the short end of the stick in the hair game between the two of them. But
she's a tiny nugget, and curls look like trash until they go beautiful, luscious, perfect turns. You know what I'm saying?
no, but Wynter at her age had them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let's not compare, Mal.
I know. I just feel bad for her. She just has this like, we call it her peacock feathers. It's just like baby hair that sticks up in the back.
We'll send some of Sealy's. I'll make her a weave.
Perfect.
Yeah.
She would love it. Oh,
I know.
Well,
I love the name of your page because at first I didn't realize that was your children's names. Like when I first started following you, and then I
I'm
was
sure
like,
Jen
wait a
didn't
minute.
either. She didn't
I didn't
realize
either.
that
It took
shit
me a
was
while.
mine.
I'm like, that's so cute. I love it.
you know.
Do you know, like 2 years after Jen and I had been talking every effing day, she goes, Planaville? Like your last name?
Oh,
So in like November of 2024, you might get a message from Jen Dunn that's like, Wynter Storey, A Wynter Storey.
I get it. I get it.
I mean, I thought it was pretty clever, especially after
Yeah,
a few
no,
drinks
I love it, 'cause-
behind around the bonfire. So
It's
It's
it
so
worked.
good.
It's
So
cute.
cute.
It's got that Moon Beach kiss of wonder.
It's like you knew you were gonna have a blog when you named them.
Mhm.
We were like that kind of sealed the nail on the hit the head of nail on the coffin or whatever the saying is, because we had 3 names when we were going and they came out with like silver hair. And I mean,
That's the
my kids
Wynter.
are biracial, so we were like,
Hold
my
on.
hair's not really blonde, so how is it coming out like this?
That's amazing.
He really has
Genetics
like
are weird.
Swenson
Genetics,
white
yeah.
hair, like
does.
Swenson white. Yeah.
And bright blue eyes. Like it's
Love that.
Love it.
never in 1,000 years would have thought that's what he came out looking like, but here we are.
Here we are.
Show stopping.
So good. Well, thanks, Mom.
Thank you guys. It was so good to see you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for joining us at the table for this episode of the Table for 5 No Reservations podcast. If you are enjoying the podcast, please remember to rate and review us wherever you're listening. If you'd love more content from us and to be part of our community, make sure to become a subscriber. You can find the link in the description of this episode. Join us next Monday for more, and while you wait, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. See you next time.